If SPF knocked on your door again and said, look, I failed in my last venture.
One second, please.
I have a new, if SPF knocked on your door again and said, look, I failed in my last venture. I have a new crypto venture. I need money. Would you back him?
That's a great question. No one's asked me yet.
Great question.
I think we can all admit, you can love him or hate him given what's happened, but he was one of the most brilliant traders in the crypto universe. He also built one of the most robust platforms. We used FTX actively. It was a very robust platform that allowed us to get information on a compliant basis. So I really like what he built.
Would you back him?
The answer would be yes.
If SPF,
I'm going to tell you this. So I think if the audio's low on that, it's because of the audio. I've got to give a full disclaimer. I haven't seen the context in which the broader discussion was occurring. It's entirely conceivable this is so out of context that the words I heard coming out of Kevin O'Leary's mouth are otherwise explainable. It's possible it's a deep fake. I'm not quite certain who this individual is. Someone sent me this very recently. Mr. Lee Jr. looks legit. The audio and the video looks a little too high quality to be deep fake.
Knocked on your door again and said, look, I failed in my last venture. I have a new crypto venture. I need money. Would you back him?
Great question.
It's a great question. No one's asked me yet.
By the way, this is buttering up the individual. Great. You're so smart. That's I would have never thought to ask that question under such circumstances, possibly because nobody in their right mind would think it is a great question to ask in the broader context of what we've just witnessed over the last week and a half.
I think we can all admit, you can love him or hate him given what's happened, but
I think there's only one, maybe two sets of people who love him. The Democrat Party, from whom who were gifted tens of millions of dollars, if not hundreds of millions of dollars. Some political groups, some researchers who were gifted tens of millions of dollars of FTX Foundation monies to conduct research, to fund COVID research. There's a few people who are very happy and love him a lot. They got a blank check, their money cashed, and they're well on their way. I think a great many other people probably hate him, and rightfully so.
He was one of the most brilliant traders in the crypto universe. He also built one of the most robust platforms. We used FTX actively. It was a very robust platform that allowed us to get information on a compliant basis. So I really like what he built.
Would you back him?
The answer would be yes.
I'll need to know if there's more context to that. I would love to have Kevin O'Leary on. I doubt he would. It's a funny thing. He'd never come. He would never agree to it. I wouldn't be mean. I would not be mean, disrespectful, or berate anybody, call them names. I would just ask him very, very uncomfortable questions that I'm certain he would not like to be asked, such as, would you back him? When he's paying me, I'm not backing him. He's backing me. That's how it works. Would I vouch for him? If he pays me enough, if he backs me enough, I will vouch for him like I did the last time. Would you back him? O'Leary, from what we know, invested in the company, but was being paid to be a spokesperson and an ambassador. So who is backing who here? He built a very interesting tool. He was a great trader. Did he say trader or traitor? He was a great trader, all right, because he managed to find a way to fabricate money out of thin air. He came up with a Ponzi scheme that worked well enough in the interim for whatever the reason. I am now, by the way, I did a live stream earlier today, locals exclusive, vivabarneslaw.locals.com. I still believe that this is a Democrat money laundering scheme. I believe that thoroughly. The amount of dollars that went from FTX through Sam Bankman-Fried to the Democrat Party, it's in the tens of millions and probably hundreds of millions. The amount that went to political entities, and I am now unfortunately including research in political entities, FTX Foundation funding COVID research, funding COVID studies, funding certain studies that had highly political results, hundreds of millions of dollars. And it all goes belly up the day after the elections. Bankman-Fried, FTX, I think they put 10 million into Biden in 2020. Bankman put in 39 million to the Democrat Party. If it wasn't the full 39 million, at least 90% of it. Two of his, what do they call them? It was a word that had to do with maritime law. Two of the deputies or whatever, the people at his FTX, 30 million. That's 70 million right off the bat. His mother and some others at Stanford or MIT, I forget where, through Mind the Gap, $140 million raised to get out and vote this year. I don't think we're going. Focus on cameras off. I don't think we're going out on too much of a venture to say it was a clear scam. One that a lot of people were in on. I want to know how much Kevin O'Leary was paid as an ambassadorship. Net, how much did he get? How much did he invest? What was his net loss or net gain? Would I back him again? Oh, no, he was a great, savvy investor. He realized that if you say you have assets and then arbitrarily affix a value to them and then sell those assets to another arm's length company that's actually not an arm's length company to establish a fabricated, inflated value, you can basically say, I'm worth $1 trillion. Look, I sold a token to another company for $100 million and I got another 10 of them. Oh, that other company I'm related to. And then, yeah, he's a great savvy trader in that he figured out a scheme that, like all children, eventually find out you're not that smart. And how did you ever think that this was going to work? My running theory now, by the way, just to finish that thought, he's a patsy. I've watched enough interviews with him. I've seen enough of his general demeanor. I'm not sure that he's all there mentally, and I say that with full respect to all people on the spectrum of what it is to be a human. He's clearly not all there. I think he's a patsy or a fall guy for what was, on its face, seemingly a vehicle through which to dupe retail investors into parting with their hard-earned cash. Pension funders in Canada investing in this. The retail folk, I'm not blurry. Am I blurry? Okay, put this off. I'm not blurry because I can read I'm in focus. He's a fall guy for a broader scheme, and the full extent of that broader scheme, I don't know, but that's my prediction. That's my take right now. Okay. Sure, he's a victim, right? I don't think he's a victim. I think he was a useful tool for this. I mean, he's going to get the punishment, but a lot of other people are going to have made off like freaking bandits. Hundreds of millions of dollars to political and politicized philanthropic entities. Maybe this guy was actually lacking enough intellectually to think that he was actually going to become the next philanthropic billionaire. And the rug has been pulled out, but hard. But Kevin O'Leary, paid ambassador to FTX, paid spokesperson, he'll back him again because he liked the fact that he built a functional exchange. I mean, I'm no genius, but I could probably find people to do that. But this also highlights a very serious problem of a very material conflict of interest. O'Leary's sort of upfront about it. You know, in his interviews, he's like, I'm ethically bound to tell you that I'm a paid spokesperson for this company, but I'm invested in it. And SBF's parents are fancy Stanford, MIT professors, tax attorneys. If anybody can set this up regulatorily wise to ensure that it's legit, it's his parents. Settings. HD. I'm in HD. The internet people came today. I'm looking at Rob A. It says, Viva, it's your internet connection. You are only loading in less than HD. Why would that be? Blurry on Rumble. Already double checked that I'm 1080p. Hold on, I'm going to just do something. People, I'm in HD. Here, I go standard D. Look what happens here. That's standard 480. Let's go low def. That makes absolutely no difference. Back to high def. People, am I sharper now? Is it? He's not all there with respect to Biden and Fetterman. Treasure Troller. I don't think I've seen that avatar before. All right. It's good enough. How clear do you... Madoff, like Burnoff, like Bernie Madoff. Cameron, that's a good one. I'm not being swatted. The entire world economy is floating around. Okay, hold on. It's good enough. How clear do you need Viva to look? What are you in love with Viva? They should be. This really highlights one of the problems of being in a radical conflict of interest. And it segues into the next story. Clear now? Good. I think I know what the bloody problem is or was. Kevin, you can't add, the people who are getting paid will never suffer as much as the people who are not getting paid. It's bottom line. Common sense. You can't ask people who have a vested interest. You can't ask people who are being paid by the organization to rate the organization. They can't. In as much as they can't. And you're asking O'Leary, who has been paid by this guy and might see dollar signs in the future again. Would you do it again? Well, he didn't lose his pension. But this is another problem. I mean, here, Josh Zepps. This is going to blow your minds. Josh Zepps is a reporter. I think it's NBC or ABC. Let me just make sure I get it right. ABC broadcaster. This man, I discovered him. I think it was was he on Joe Rogan? I saw him at one point. It's like, I'm interested. I don't know which angle this individual is coming from. ABC reporter. You'll see where I'm going with the conflict of interest here. You can have a healthy libertarian skepticism towards mandating a safe, effective vaccine. But believing the vaccine was unsafe and ineffective was not healthy skepticism. It was superstitious bullshit. Remember this sentence. Superstitious bullshit. And remember the time-tested and true principle of life, confession through projection. The wild success of the vaccines at reducing the national mortality proves it. You'll notice here it's ambiguous. National mortality at large or national mortality from COVID. Some might say reducing the national mortality from COVID is the natural evolution of the spread of a virus It wreaks havoc among the most vulnerable at the beginning. The virus itself mutates to become less lethal, and those that were the most vulnerable and susceptible to death have already suffered the most severe consequences, so that mortality, national mortality, if it's from COVID, will naturally change directions. But this guy is saying it was superstitious bullshit to say it was unsafe and ineffective. Josh Steps, remember this. And I posted a number of responses, one of which was, hey, I heard those myocarditis trials were a smashing success. Oh, wait, that's right. They haven't done them yet. Do you know what is, you can let him in. Do you know what is true superstitious bullshit? A so-called journalist claiming a vaccine is safe and effective before the manufacturers even conduct trials to determine if it causes myocarditis. But where's the conflict here? Oh, hey, you want to say hi to everybody? Get up here. Oh, where's the conflict? Yeah, we'll show you where the conflict is. It's not with Winston. Wait. Oh God, he's eating my face. Say hello and say goodbye. Where's the conflict? Let's see how far down the response is. Everybody remembers that wonderful 3 minutes brought to you by Pfizer?
Brought to you by Pfizer. ABC News Nightline.
ABC News Nightline.
Brought to you by Pfizer. ABC
Let's let it play a few more times.
Brought to you by Pfizer. ABC News Nightline. Brought to you by Pfizer. ABC News Nightline.
ABC News Nightline. That's the same company for which SEPS works. Sponsoring them. Imagine, let's just hypothetically say, and we're going to segue into my sponsorship. Imagine you work for a company that makes hundreds of thousands of dollars through one of its sponsors, and you're called upon to report on that sponsor. It's been a wild success, this experiment. It's been a wild success. I'm a journalist. I have a blue check mark. I'm objective. I do my research. I am commenting on our sponsor. If I were to come out and say, how did they tell us it was safe and effective before conducting the very trials on myocarditis that they're conducting now? How did they tell us it was safe and effective to one of our sponsors? What do you think that sponsor might say? They might say, what the F are you doing? You're undermining our product, and we pay for airtime on your station. We pay your salary, and you're coming out now and making people reluctant or skeptical about the very product that we sell, that we sponsor you for? Oh, yeah. So you're Josh Zeps, who works for a company that is sponsored by the pharmaceutical company on which and about which he's tweeting, is telling you it's been a smashing success, wildly successful, and expects anybody to believe him. And the depths of the lies. I typically try not to intentionalize or impute intentions. The depths here, it doesn't end. I mean, people say I have to stop trying to engage because I'm engaging with the insincere. I'll assume that he's sincere for the sake of it, or I'll assume that he's insincere. I am engaging, hopefully, just for the faintest of hopes of reaching other people. Listen to this. He said, you can have a healthy skepticism. We all went through that bullshit. Excess mortality throughout 2021 skyrocketed during the rollout of the vaccines. Correlation does not equal causation. Yeah. If you mean mortality specifically from COVID, that can be argued. Here, listen to this. What does the disingenuous, brought to you by Pfizer, have to say about it? Yes, and it was due to dementia, diabetes, and other conditions that had been time shifted from 2020 due to lockdowns, and which even anti-vaxxers concede vaccines don't, and which even anti-vaxxers concede vaccines don't cause. First of all, I take offense to the term anti-vaxxers as a pejorative, as a derogatory term. Who knows what movie that's? Who knows what movies that's from? I'm going to let someone try to guess it. You use the word in a derogatory manner. I didn't. He's using anti-vaxxers in a derogatory manner here, judgmental, discrediting manner. There are some people who might disagree with that. There has been discussion as to whether or not the jibby jab penetrates the blood-brain barrier. There have been some discussions about doctors seeing an increase of certain types of illnesses that some people think might be caused by a weakened immune system, and they hypothesize as to what that might be. 3-year mortality is down massively in Australia compared to the rest of the world. I can't comment on that. What I can comment on is another lie. Leading cause of death in Alberta is now unknown. And by the way, unknown. This is, we've covered this, but ill-defined and unknown causes of death is now the leading cause of death in Alberta. In New Brunswick, they're having trouble accounting for massive excess deaths for a quarter in 2021. Above and beyond dementia. Dementia, this is like the first time from what I understood that dementia is not the leading cause of death. It's above COVID deaths. So this guy, in trying to, you know, the old song, when you tell one lie, it leads to another. Oh, all-cause mortality is down. No, it's not. No, it's not. And the all-cause mortality of a certain age bracket is certainly not down according to insurance statistics. Here we go. This is it. In working age people. At the very least, Kevin O'Leary had the transparency to disclose his conflict of interests. At the very least, Kevin O'Leary disclosed it. Josh Sepps, journalist at ABC, brought to you by Pfizer. Brought to you by Pfizer. Bought to you by Pfizer. Okay, I see. Josh works for the Australian broadcast company, not American Broadcasting. Wrong ABC. Oh, damn it. I'm going to have to go revise that. Let me double check that. Damn it, not American ABC, wrong ABC. All right, well, I'll have to go see if they're sponsored by Pfizer anyhow. Damn it, I checked that. Oh, okay, I'll have to correct. I will have to correct myself if that is in fact the case. But now, speaking of sponsors, by the way, and hey, I wouldn't take a sponsor if I didn't like the sponsor, and I would not expect anyone to expect me to be critical of a sponsor, because I would not be critical of a sponsor that I would have as a sponsor. But you may have noticed that, oh shoot, I know I did it. I know I did it. My sponsor, people. Brickhouse Nutrition, it is Field of Greens. Oh, hold on. When you put in Field of Greens, people, it's the healthy alternative. It's actually just healthy. Desiccated vegetables, powdered greens, not a supplement, not an extract. So you would have great difficulty ODing on it. You can't, it's an actual food. Desiccated, pulverized, dehydrated vegetables, power fruits and vegetables. It gets all the antioxidants, the nutrients that you want from vegetables. Most people don't fully appreciate. You're supposed to eat 5 to 6 servings of vegetables a day. I think most people do appreciate. Most people do not eat 5 to 6 servings of vegetables a day. I do, but I nonetheless enjoy, as an alternative to some bad habits, a glass of the powdered greens, Field of Greens. You get the antioxidants, you get the nutrients, you get a serving per spoonful. If you do it twice a day, that'll be 2 servings of vegetables and the nutrients that go therewith. Dried, it is not a supplement. It is not an extract. It's a food. It is USDA organic certified, made in America. I spent a half an hour on the phone with the doctor. I did a live Q&A with the doctor on the channel. Great product. It actually tastes good, despite what it looks like. I always say it looks like swamp water, but swamp water is the most robust nutrient-filled waters, which is where all life comes from. It actually tastes good. And my goodness, it's healthy and far better than sucking down one of those toxic energy drinks Cokes, Diet Cokes, whatever. Fieldofgreens.com, promo code Viva. You'll get 15% off your first order and 10% off your subscription should you choose to subscribe. It's good. It's good, and it's a good, healthy habit to get into. I always say that humans are creatures of habit, and getting into good, healthy habits is the best thing to do. Now, the person who has made me I have to go double check this now, and then correct and apologize, or not apologize, just correct. So that's it. Ultra Mega Swamp Juice. It tastes good. It doesn't look good, but look, I'll tell you one thing. I've made smoothies and we've stuck vegetables in the smoothies like spinach. It doesn't go down the same way. Dried seaweed is the best. This I'll stop after this because it's actually just good. Field of Greens has kale, spinach, cherries, berries, all the good stuff. It's great. Okay, eat real food. Yes, raw fruits and vegetables are the best first thing to do. The next best thing is try to do that. And if you can't, get into healthy habits. Fieldofgreens.com brings you to Brickhouse Nutrition, and it's good stuff. Okay, let me see if Barnes is going to come. So we don't have a guest for the sidebar tonight. I'm going to see if Barnes is coming. Are you coming? Question mark, smiley face. Even if he doesn't come, I've got a lot. We've got a lot more than I need. But now that's driving me crazy about the ABC, America Broadcast Company, Australia Broadcast Company. Let me go. I will see if they're sponsored, and then I will correct my mistake, if it's in fact a bona fide mistake. Viva, there might be a desiccated bug in it. Who cares? I won't eat bugs because people force me to. I will eat bugs of my own volition, as I have done in the past. Good sponsor, yes. Do we bring it over to Rumble? That's what I forgot to do. Of all the things I forgot to do, it's to put the link in the pinned comment. Here it is, link to Rumble. Everyone, we're going to bring it over to Rumble now because we're going to talk about Mr. Poopy Pants. Oh my goodness, I only talked about that during the local stream earlier today. I want to make it trend. Poopy Pants Trudeau. It can be done. It can be done. We're going to go from Trudeau crapping his pants because he got scolded by President Xi publicly, humiliated to the point where he waddles off into the background, to Twitter wanting to get the world into a world war based on the fog of war information that people react upon and simply do not learn from their mistakes. All right, let's do it. So let's move on over to the Rumble side. Oh yeah. Okay, and did I miss anything here? Let me see here. Dan has my James Top interview raw unedited. Dan is my brother, Chet Chisholm. Okay, I'm going to ask him. Thank you. And then we got he's not all there with respect to Biden. You know what? Now Treasure Troll, and now that you say it, are we not noticing a pattern actually? Aussie ABC is the authoritarian left in Australia, very similar to CBC. All right, is it state? Well, I'm going to have to just double check this. If anybody knows, and this is not to weasel out of a correction. The fundamental point is journalists being sponsored by the pharmaceutical companies upon which they're reporting. If he's independent, in that regard, I will correct that aspect of accusation and revert back to the bottom line: lies, lies, and lies. You can't say something is safe and effective until you've done the studies to prove that it's safe and effective. Effectiveness, the definition has evolved. I will say shifted in terms of goalposts. The safeness, they made a public positive affirmation, and they're now doing the tests to double check that positive affirmation. We'll see. Government subsidized. Okay, it's even better. That's even better. Okay, it does matter. All right, let's do it. And make sure I vote for Trump. I'm not sure that I'll be able to vote for Trump in 2024. I probably still will not be able to vote, Big Pete. Okay, yeah, go. Okay, Brad Raymond, let's get to it. Move on over to Rumble, people. I'm going to wind it up here in 3, 2,